Hello everybody, how are you today? Thank you for coming to this video. I decided to do this video today because I've seen that there are many people that are working with the Vermona PERfourMER, but using sequencers that are only hardware based, not from a DAW or not from hybrid solutions like Maschine, for example. I've seen a lot of people doing performances with the Arturia Keystep Pro, with the Octatrack from Electron, which are really good solutions. But I would like to stress today that you can do a lot of things using Maschine MK3 and also a computer, okay? So we're going to do a very simple setup, just using a computer with Maschine MK3 and connecting it to the PERfourMER. So the layout I prepared today is this one. I have here on the back of the Maschine MK3, I have the power cable, the USB connector to the computer. I have a MIDI out cable going from Maschine MK3 to the MIDI to the Vermona PERfourMER, and I am returning the main outs of the PERfourMER to the inputs on Maschine MK3, and the last cable is the mains out of MK3 to the mixer, okay, and then recording to OBS. So I am running today a session with the Maschine MK3. Here you can see on the screen. I'm going to start totally from scratch. So I will click here, new project. And first of all, I want to stress what are the preferences for today. So I'm going to use the sound card that is included in Maschine MK3. The audio interface is using the ASIO interface, running at 48,000, and for the MIDI inputs I will just enable Maschine MK3 external MIDI. I'm going to disable the Firefox and also Tractor, so just the Maschine MIDI in. For the outputs, the Maschine MK3 external MIDI out, okay, so input and output, but we are going to use only the output because we are going to use the keyboard in the paths in the MK3, okay? So let's start. How is it going to work today? I'm going to use the configuration of the Vermona using separate channels, separate strips. So what I'm going to do is create 4 different groups in Maschine. So each of them will manage the MIDI notes that are going to the Vermona, and then the sound of the Vermona will come back in the 5th channel, in the 5th group of Maschine MK3, and I will add some effects in real time. I have the library from a Complete 13. I will use those because they are really good, but I'm going to do it from scratch and totally improvising today, okay? The good thing of working with such a synthesizer is that the sounds are so nice. This synthesizer is amazing. The creaminess of the sound is incredible. So just putting single notes will make an incredible effect. And if on top of that we add good effects, that will make a really nice pattern. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go back to Maschine here, and as you know, to create the groups, you just simply click on these buttons on the controller, on these color buttons. So we will create a 5 of them. The first 4, A, B, C, and D, will be for the incoming MIDI notes, okay, and the 5th will be used for the incoming audio coming from the Vermona and to put the effects, okay. So just clicking on these color paths to create the groups will create these 5 vertical groups. Okay, so if I come back and select the first group, okay, here if you work on the screen you will see an icon, this one here in the middle, that is configuring the input outputs for the sound, the group and the master. So because we are going to work on the sound level for each of the groups, I'm going to do that from the controller. So if I click the different buttons of the channel of the group, sorry, I can move, okay, between them. And then to select the options for the sound input and output in the controller, you can just click on this channel button and the screen will pop up selecting input and outputs. Okay, so you can navigate these 4 options with the buttons here on the right. I hope you can see them on the screen as well. Here you can see them. Sorry for okay, here you can cycle the different selections from the group. Okay, so I'm going to go to the output level for the 4 initial groups, for channels 1 to 4. Okay, so in this group I'm going to select the output for the destination device will be the Maschine MK3 external. You can see that it is listed now here in this area of the screen, and also here as well, just rotating this encoder, you will see that I select Maschine MK3 channel 1. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for the next one. So just clicking on the group buttons on the B group, I come to the same screen at the sound level. You just select here output with these 2 buttons, and the channel will be channel 2, MIDI channel 2, and destination Maschine MK3. Then I go to the third, channel 3, and same device, and you click on the group 4, Maschine MK3 channel 4. Okay, if you don't see the MIDI option, you have to navigate with these 2 arrows, because you will see audio output, you will see aux for the auxiliary sense, and this will be for the MIDI, the last screen, which is marked here, 3 of 3. Okay, so now we go back to the Maschine screen. We will see that we will have 4 different groups, and each of them is working with the Maschine output, MIDI output port, and each of them in one of the channels. Okay, the next thing is that you have to go to the Vermona and configure it to use the channels 1 to 4. This comes as this by default, but if you don't have that configuration, you can go here in the play mode selector. You just select M1, and then here you click on the MIDI channel. The light is on, and then you select MIDI channel 1, and you will see that this is the light that it is on for that channel. MIDI channel 2, this is the light that is on. MIDI channel 3, this one, and MIDI channel 4, this one. Okay, I just finished. Click the MIDI channel button again. So to ensure that this is working, I'm going to go to the different channels, and just here in path mode, you click on the first path, and you will see that every time I press in the path, the light is receiving the MIDI information for channel 1. If I click the second group, the path will send information to the second channel. This will be for the third, and this will be for the fourth. Okay, but at the moment we are not listening anything, because we have to configure the audio coming back, routing back from Maschine to from the Vermona PERfourMER back to the Maschine MK3. So for that, as I said before, we're going to use the 5th group number E1. So if I go to machine here in the software, you will see that I have a 5th group, which is this one. In this case, I'm going to configure the input, not the output, as we did with the MIDI channels. The input, we're going to configure that to select the audio source of the audio interface. So in this case, I have a lot of options, but because I'm going to receive the signal, the stereo signal in the first input port is in 1L plus R, left plus right. And I can increase the gain as well if I want, because as you know, and this you can read this in the forums, the gain in the Maschine MK3 is really weak. You have to put a strong signal to sample or to capture or to do a live effects session from hardware to the interface included in the Maschine MK3. This is a problem. I think it's a problem with the manufacturing, but at least here in this option you can increase the gain up to 10 decibels, and that will improve the gain a lot. Okay. So at this moment, when I click on play on, for example, on any of these buttons, on the trigger buttons, you should be able to listen to the sounds. Okay. Okay, so the audio is coming back, okay? And you can see as well in the screen that you can see in the screen as well that you can send MIDI information. So if I select group A1, I can start triggering the paths, and the Vermona will play it in the corresponding MIDI channel and send the audio back to the audio inputs in the machine. Okay, so I'm going to program some steps in different MIDI channels. So I'm going to select, for example, the step button here and put some notes. You can see that on the screen, for example, these 2 notes. I'm going to select the next group. All right, I'm going to go with the third one. Alright, so now I have MIDI notes in the first 4 groups, sending notes to each of the different MIDI channels in the Vermona. Then I'm going to add some effects to the audio channel that is receiving the information to improve the sound of the overall composition. So I'm just going to click on this fifth channel in the E1 channel, and then I will go to this browser button. I will click it, the plugin button, and for the sound I'm going to add effects. So I select here type effect. The vendor will be, for example, Native Instruments, and I'm going to use, for example, the dirt effect. Okay, and now at the moment this will be the effect. When you use external effect in machines, you can show them on screen if you press Shift and Edit. So at the moment, this the plugin, the VST plugin, will show on the screen. You will have it here, and from machine I can control the different parameters. Okay, so I'm going to mute all the channels but the first one. Okay, that is okay. And then I'm going to use, I'm going to add another effect. For example, let's put a reverb, RC24. I'm going to show this one on the screen as well. Here. And I'm going to unmute the other channels. In Maschine, you can also do polyrhythms. So in case of you want to do polyrhythms, you just select one of the patterns that you just created. The ones I'm using now are really simple. It's a 1 bar pattern. But when you click on the pattern button, if you go to the length and you will see here that the length is 1 bar, 1:0:0. You can just, if you click on length, you will go from 1 bar to 2 bars to 3, but if you want to move the cursor with the smaller quantities, you can just press shift and then move the length of the pattern, as you can see here on the screen. You can increase the length of the pattern very easily. So for example, with this, This sounds incredible. Okay, I hope you enjoy this idea, this tutorial. Sorry for my English today because I'm really tired. We are in Madrid this week in June 2022 with more than 44 Celsius degrees, and it's really warm. It's difficult. Now it's 11:30 p.m. and it's impossible to sleep even with the air conditioning. Making some music or doing this kind of videos is much better. Okay, enjoy this tutorial. If you have any ideas about patching or how making working together Maschine MK3 with the Vermona PERfourMER or other hardware synthesizers, let me know in the comments. Until next video, ciao ciao.